Star Wars A New Hope have two versions here, as you can see. This is the 4K release. It includes the Blu-ray and digital code, and this is just a Blu-ray release. This would be the special edition, so probably the version that most people are familiar with now, considering how much time has gone by. And this is the not so special edition, so the original version of Star Wars. And I'll flip these over here. And we have two different write-ups here. Let's see, so this is the 4K release. This came out, I want to say 2020 or something like that. And I don't really care for the special edition. That's probably a fairly common sentiment, but I remember seeing this in the theater. I think it came out in 1997, and I have to admit, I was incredibly excited at the time, and then the excitement just drained from my body as the movie continued, and I just figured at some point, well, they'll put out the not so special edition, right? And yes and no. There was a DVD release, a DVD release that was very little fanfare. I kind of feel like it just kind of came out, and I want to say that was pretty much it for the not so special edition. So, and then people were saying, oh well, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, well, maybe they'll re-release them as a package or something, and I'm still waiting for that. But so let's take a look here. We have the 4K release here. Young farm boy Luke Skywalker is thrust into a galaxy of adventure when he intercepts a distress call from the captive Princess Leia. The event launches him on a daring mission to rescue her from the clutches of Darth Vader and the evil Empire. Join their mission in breathtaking 4K Ultra HD. I don't know if I will. And then we have the not so special edition here. Okay, I just noticed this one has a long time ago at a galaxy far, far away. And surprisingly, they don't have that here. So let's see what we have here. Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. Yeah, they didn't note the actors here. This is a little unusual. So Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, is held hostage by the evil Emperor. Wait, does that say Empire? Oh, excuse me. By the evil Imperial forces in their effort to take over the galaxy. Venturesome Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, wise Obi-Wan Kenobi, Sir Alec Guinness, and dashing Captain Han Solo, Harrison Ford, team together with the lovable droid duo R2-D2 and C-3PO to rescue the beautiful princess and restore justice to the galaxy. One of the biggest box office hits in the history of cinema and winner of 6 Academy Awards, Star Wars is the elaborate spectacular that represents the ultimate in cinematic science fiction. Writer-director George Lucas' unrivaled passion for space fantasy, adventure, and romance is captured on screen with awesome visual effects and extraordinary space creatures. If I haven't seen these movies before, I'd be much more interested in renting this one. So, but I have seen them, so. Plus the artwork too. Hey, my goodness, you have this here, and then that's not. That's fine, and that's not that. And of course, we have our inner floating heads and pretty common theatrical poster. But yeah, this is just like, hey, what's this all about? I want to watch this. And I don't. It must have been when the special edition came out. They started adding A New Hope. Does it say episode 4 anywhere? No, it doesn't. I don't think. I'll have to go and take a look. Because I have Empire and Return of the Jedi on 4K as well, and I don't think it says episodes 5 or 6 anywhere either. So I want to take a look at the packaging here, and I'll move this one. We'll start with this one. Give me a moment. Look this up. It's probably pretty loud. Not too bad, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's not that exciting. We have our Obi-Wan and Vader duel there, and then we have a bonus disc. I thought this was 3 discs. I think it is. I think I bought this on eBay, and the seller plucked the Blu-ray out, and they were just selling the 4K and the bonus disc. And I really didn't have any interest in the Blu-ray anyway, so I ended up buying it as is off eBay. So that's why there's no digital code either. I was going to say I don't remember redeeming that or taking it out, and it didn't even come with it in this case. Okay, so there's that one. Let's take a look at this one now. Oh, I gotta open it too. This one's a little harder to open. And you want to cover your ears. Okay. And have the disc art here. There's some inner art. If I can open this up. Got a little, well, not really a booklet. It's just like one sheet folded. And we have some art here of the Millennium Falcon. Well, we got Chewie, of course, and C-3PO. There's R2 just, roaming around. And a booklet here. The many chapters. There's a lot of different audio tracks as well. So, pretty cool. Put this back. Alright. Snap it to that. I'll just leave it like that. It's not a big deal. So you can probably see what's happening here if you've been, following my channel. I started watching Star Wars, and now I'm all the way up to episode 4, not including Rogue One, or series 1 and 2, so I watched Phantom Menace. Actually, I didn't do a Phantom Menace video because I wasn't doing these videos when I watched Phantom Menace, and I feel like I skipped episode 2, not that I haven't seen it, and then I saw episode 3 in the theater, and I went back and watched episode 2. I'm watching Andor. We just watched Rogue One, and so naturally we're at episode 4. And I watched the not so special edition because I just kind of have this because I have to. I don't know. I don't want to go and deep dive my impulses here for buying things I'm not planning on watching, but I guess more of a curiosity. It's one of those things where I say to myself, oh, do I dislike the special editions that much? And I watch it and I'm reminded, oh yeah, no, I do. And also with this one, it's really unfortunate with the 4K release, ignoring the fact that it's the special edition. There's, I only watched the 4K once, but I remember the presentation being disappointing. Quite a bit of digital noise reduction used in the picture, so a lot of the grain is scrubbed away, and that scrubs away detail. So I don't know why I was surprised about that, but it was disappointing nonetheless. So even from a presentation standpoint, I can't strongly recommend the 4K, or if these are both the same editions, I would still go back and watch this one because the grain is retained, and it's just, it doesn't look like a movie that was shot in 1977 when you're watching. I'm sure that's the whole point. So maybe that's appealing to you, and that's fine, I guess. But it's not really to me. And I don't have the Blu-ray, of course, because, as mentioned, it wasn't included. But I have a feeling it's the same presentation on Blu-ray. So yeah, the 4K release, pretty disappointing. But we do have this version, of course. And what's there to say about Star Wars? I feel like everyone has seen Star Wars, and that's probably not literally true, but it's been so ingrained in pop culture that even if you haven't, if you didn't sit down to watch them at some point, you probably know the story to a certain extent. But I know for me, I grew up in the 80s, and I felt like Star Wars fever was the highest it could ever be. I don't know if that's true or not, but like the toy saturation when you go into well, there used to be toy stores were pretty common, and it was awesome, if you were into that stuff. But I don't know my favorite part, but one of my favorite parts, I don't think I realized it as much when I was watching this as a kid, but it may have heightened my imagination without me realizing it, because with Star Wars, it jumps right into episode 4, and you don't really realize that the first time you're watching, of course, because it's just presented as this is Star Wars. So it is, and it does have the crawl. It does say A New Hope, but knowing that we're kind of jumping into it, and these characters exist in this world, it's actually kind of what I was saying with Rebel Moon. I haven't even seen that. Rogue One, where the characters I found inherently interesting, so they felt developed enough off screen, even though you don't see certain events that transpire, that you can kind of imagine that, oh, okay, these characters are living these lives, they're already established, and if they want to do a spin-off, say something like Andor, they could absolutely do it. And it's the same case here with these characters. You kind of jump right in, and the world just looks so lived in. There's so much dirt and grime, and I'm trying to think. I'm going back to when I was a kid. I haven't seen a lot of science fiction, but it always I want to say again, this is so long ago, but an impression of this aesthetic type look, where everything is spotless and clean, and Star Wars was the opposite of that, where this world is in need of repair. This world needs an oil change, and it was just really fascinating, where you really let your imagination run wild, where you want to think of the adventures that these characters were on, and you could just buy the toy, and you could live out your own adventures with Luke and Han and Leia, and maybe even Vader if you're one of those types of kids. So anyways, I imagine you'll be seeing a Empire Strikes Back video probably in a few weeks or something. So thanks for watching.